Good afternoon, good afternoon. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. I'm Cliff Kelley, and we are streaming live at www.wvon.com, and it is Thursday, November 3rd, and we are so pleased to have in our studio, back for part two, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we're so pleased to have him. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm glad you opened the show with a question like that because I'm feeling much better this week than last, even though emotionally and humanly I was in great pain over the loss of brother leader Muammar Gaddafi, and angry at the things that it revealed to me, not only of what was taking place across the water, but what is and will soon take place in America. And so I thank you. I'm feeling much better this week, and this week we want to talk to our people about how can we survive in a time like this when we have more millionaires and a few billionaires and more members of the black middle class, yet the masses of our people are slipping further and further behind and are deeper and deeper in the valley of poverty and want. So a few editions ago, in the final call, October the 18th, we mentioned on the headline, we are at war. But if we as a people are not mentally and emotionally and intellectually ready to fight the war for our survival, then our ignorance of the time will be the means of our own destruction. So thanks to you, my dear brother Cliff, and thanks to WVON, and thanks to Melody and Purvis Span and all of those responsible for this great radio station, we are back again to alert our people and to hopefully educate our people that we are at war, and the war is for our survival and for the survival of our children and a future for our grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Well, we are honored, Brother Minister, to have you here. And the last time you were here, just last week, you mentioned that you would like to come back before we finished our conversation, which, of course, was great. And I asked when, and you said next week, which I was surprised. I said, "Oh, this is great." So, of course, being the man of your word, which you always are, we asked you to come back, and you said fine, and here you are, and this is fine. And of course, as I was just saying, the final call, there's only, as my favorite newspaper, there's only one problem I have with the final call, and that's it's weekly. It only comes out once a week. But I have my final call from the 18th, and knowing that what we're going to talk about today, I, of course, had it at my home, and I brought it with me, and also the 25th. As you stated, we are at war. The future of our people is at stake. That's the headline on the 18th edition. And the 25th, Separate and Equal Inside America. Farrakhan presents vision for black survival, beginning with land and economic program. And those are the sort of things we're going to talk about. And, of course, I want everybody to get the November 8th edition, because the banner, Minister Farrakhan with WVON AM's Cliff Kelley show. So I have an interest in that. So this is great. And, I have to always commend the people at the final call because they just do a great job. And let me announce that the minister did say he would be taking calls, and our number is 591-1690, and we are so pleased to have him back for part two. We talked about, of course, the situation. And I am so happy to see it's a 180-degree difference in my friend, and you know I love you dearly. I was concerned about you last week. I mean, you were not the Minister Farrakhan that I know,
Well,
and I know why. I know why. As
think,
Brother Leonard said when I pushed my chair over and said, what is the matter? You know, he's yeah, he said I did the right thing, and you told me.
I'm going to say this about God. God is the beneficent. He is the merciful. He's the oft returning to mercy, and he is the forgiving. And that's the side of God that we always hope to see. But there is another face to God, and that is the face of his awesome power to destroy in the twinkling of an eye his enemies. All of us are made in the image and likeness of God, so there's a time when we can be peaceful. But there's also a time when the peaceful man can go to war. And that is the prophets of God. They were peaceful men, but they were warriors too. And that's who you're looking at. So you always hope that the face of Farrakhan will be the peaceful face. But there's another side to me that I don't think any of you want to get acquainted with. But you will have to before the end of this drama is over.
Thank you so much. I want to tell everyone you can follow and communicate with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan at www.twitter.com @Louis Farrakhan, and also www.noi.org. You can do that. All right. Where do we want to start off with the situation on how the future of our people is at stake?
Well, I would like to start off with the cry of our people since the 1940s with the great organizer and labor leader A. Philip Randolph, who wanted to organize a march on Washington. And the cry at that time was jobs and justice. And in the 60s, 1963 to be exact, the civil rights movement with A. Philip Randolph present marched on Washington, and the cry again was jobs and justice. And 20 years later, at the 20th anniversary of that historic march on Washington, the cry again was jobs and justice. And at the unveiling of the statue of our brother, Martin Luther King Jr., our dear brother Al Sharpton had a march the day before the unveiling, and the cry was jobs and justice, but this time brother was trying his best to encourage not only black America but white America as well to get behind the jobs bill proposed by President Barack Obama. Now, as a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I would like to disabuse us of the thought that our president can create enough jobs for our millions of unemployed and white America's millions of unemployed. That is why I'm here to call us back to remembrance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who said and wrote on the back page of Muhammad Speaks, and now it is on the back page of the final call in the Muslim program. He said, quote, "We do not believe that America will be able to furnish enough jobs for her millions of unemployed and ours too. This was in the 60s. Now here we are 50 years later. Factories closed down. 42,600 factories in America has closed down since 2000. And there is a very shrinking manufacturing base in America and a service-oriented economy and a globalized economy where once we could look at the shirt that we wore, the underwear we had, the socks that we were wearing, the shoes that we were walking in, the coats and dresses that we had, the pillowcases and towels that we used, the diapers that we diapered our babies with, all of it was made in America. And now hardly nothing that we wear is made in America.
Well stated. The Minister, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is in our studio talking about what is the future of our people, and he's absolutely right. Any of you listening, look in your closet. Look in your closet and see what you can find in there that was made in the USA. We'll be back. This is The Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. I'm Cliff Kelley. This is The Talk of Chicago, and we are so happy to continue with our in-studio conversation with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we will continue this until the bottom of the hour and then do the news and come back, and we will continue. He is going to be with us for a couple of hours, as he said he wanted to be, and we are so pleased to have him back. Minister Farrakhan.
Thank you again, Cliff. I want our beloved brothers and sisters to listen to these statistics. 49.6 million Americans are considered functional illiterates who can read only at a 5th grade level. And our young people, 50% in some cases, dropping out of school, not having a high school education. I would ask the government of the United States and President Obama, what kind of future can you prepare for a country that houses nearly 50 million functional illiterates? And when you have young people that are ready for work and ready for some kind of employment, and you have no means of employing these youth, then their energy, their aggressive tendencies can turn now into violence, which is now plaguing the inner cities of America, and soon the country will be plagued because the young people all over America are feeling the pain of even having an education but not having a job. So what can the armed forces do? The armed forces used to be able to take the unemployed in. But the last I heard, with the calamities that are striking America one after another, FEMA does not have any more money to pay out to those who have suffered calamities in this year, unprecedented calamities. And so if the Army can't hire us because they don't have money, and we don't have the technical savvy to be in a technological age of warfare where somebody can sit in a room with a computer and push a button and destroy something hundreds and thousands of miles away, where do we fit if this is our condition and no manufacturing base in the country for these people?
We'll be back with the Minister The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm Cliff Kelley. Stay with us. Minister Louis Farrakhan is back in our studio, as he said he would be. We still have people talking about last week's great conversation that we had, and it's in the current final call, the November 8th edition. Banner headline, Minister Farrakhan on WVON AM's Cliff Kelley Show. And, of course, we know what we talked about then was Colonel Gaddafi. But today we are talking about the future of our people is at stake, and the minister has been giving us some great information, and we will be taking calls a little later in the show. But thank you, Brother Minister, for being here, and please continue. You were talking about 49.6 million functionally illiterate people and 40% high school dropouts, and where are we going?
So if there is no manufacturing base, how can these that are considered functional illiterates but can function as they were functioning before this globalized economy? One city in Massachusetts, Taunton, Massachusetts, was the shoe capital of the world. And anyone that used to like the good shoes that America produced, most of them came out of Taunton, Massachusetts. With the agrarian economy of the South and the manufacturing base of the North, people without a lot of schooling could find jobs in factories producing the clothing that we would wear, the shoes that we would wear, things that we knew to do, but we were not college graduates. Some of us were not even high school graduates, but a job was there for us in a factory. So when we're talking about jobs now, and jobs is what we need, here's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. Please consider this great man that walked among us and gave us guidance for this time. Unfortunately, we were not listening. I hope today, in the short time that is left to the dying economy of America, that we will listen now. Elijah Muhammad, in his monumental book, Message to the Black Man in America, pages 56 and 57, he said this: as a people, we must become producers and not remain consumers and employees. We must be able to extract raw materials from the earth and manufacture them into something useful for ourselves. This would create jobs in production. But we must remember that without land, there is no production. The surplus of what we produce, we would sell. This would develop a field of commerce and trade as other free and independent people whose population is less than that of the 20 million. And it was 20 million at that time, but we're between 40 and 50 million now. And so we now have to get up from where we are, and with right guidance and the will to work to produce the things that we're begging others to produce for us, we could then do that which would earn us the respect of America and the respect of the entire world. But that is not going to come through President Obama. No matter what bill is passed, it's going to come through the hard work and the unity and the pooling of our resources that we should get up intellectually and financially and do something for self. And after, I guess, a break, is there a break now?
Not yet.
Not yet? Oh, okay. Maybe I'm anticipating. But let me start with now the first order of business. I talked a few weeks ago to our great brother who is the architect behind BET, Mr. Bob Johnson. We regret that he ever sold BET to Viacom, and maybe he regrets it too. But nevertheless, that great brother of ours, we talked a few years ago when he was trying to buy U.S. Airlines. And there was a merger planned between United and U.S. Air, but he was waiting on the Congress because he was going to set up the first black-owned shuttle airline going up and down the East Coast. This is a man with tremendous vision. And when I talked to him last, he was very, very upset at the condition of our people. So we invited him to the 16th anniversary of the Million Man March, and unfortunately, it was our fault. We didn't get back to him to let him know where the place was and whatnot, but he had agreed to come. I don't want to waste any time on that, but I said, well, he wasn't there, but let me tell him what I would have said if he were there, and now I'll put it on the radio. A man like Bob Johnson, who is a black billionaire, who owned, I think, the Memphis, Charlotte Bobcats. Mm-hmm. He sold them recently. But a man like that, if he called together all the basketball players with their millions, the football players with their millions, the entertainers with their millions, and proposed to them that instead of putting their money in the stock market, where the wise can manipulate the stock market, that you could have money today, and if the stocks crash, you lose lots of money in that. Or stopping our basketball players from doing little things that put back, but uniting them and pooling their resources would allow us to put big things back into the black community by creating jobs. Now, as I read in 2010 and 2009, our top hip-hop artists made $300 million a year. But in 2008, 14 of our top hip-hop artists made $515 million. But the thing that we have money, but we don't have unity, and we don't have a program that could make multimillionaires the super rich billionaires of the future if they could pool their resources to do what? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this production has to start with the acquisition of land. As long as we don't have land, then somebody else will be the producer and we will be the consumer. Now I learned that there's 8,000 or more acres of land available in the Mississippi Delta. Well, I feel like this. We worked like hell in the Delta to make others rich with the cotton that we picked and produced. Why shouldn't we own the Delta? It belongs to us. The government should give it to us as a part of reparation, but they won't do that. But we have enough money. If we pooled our resources, we could buy land here in Illinois, in Wisconsin, in Iowa, in Indiana, in Tennessee, in Arkansas, in Mississippi, in Alabama, in Texas, and begin producing the jobs that we are begging white people to produce for us. I am telling you, brothers and sisters, Pharaoh has already dropped us. And if we're not going to pick ourselves up and do something to help ourselves, then we have no future. Well, you may say, well, Farrakhan, maybe we can't get these big, rich Negroes together to pool resources. I know we can. But then if we got none of them together, 45 million of us, think about this. If we put up 5 cents a day, 25 cents a week, $1 a month in a national treasury, if 30 million of us or 40 million of us could manage 5 cents a day, you can't even go to your children today and offer them 5 cents and they'll spit in your face. And at the end of a week, if you offered your grandchild a quarter, he would look at you and say, what's wrong with you, Grandpa? A quarter can't buy anything. But 40 million of us putting something in a national treasury, then the first thing we do after 1 year, you won't have millions or hundreds of millions. In 1 year, you would have several billions of dollars in a national treasury, and the first thing Elijah Muhammad said we have to do is buy us some land. Now, the land is for sale. Allah is plaguing America. Right now in Texas is dry. The poor cattle are dying in the field. The farmers can't make money like they used to because drought is there. Well, then why are you talking about land if there's a drought? Because we know the one who makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquake, and we know that if we had the land and were righteous on that land, God will give us the rain and we'll feed ourselves and others too.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan giving us some great information. I'm Cliff Kelley. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. We're streaming live at www.wvon.com. We are pleased to have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in our studio answering questions. He will be doing that. Those of you on the line, please hold. Right after the 5, when we come back from the top of the hour break, we'll be taking questions. And the minister's going to stay with me until 6:23 because, as you know, on Thursdays we end early. To get both WVON messages with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on the Cliff Kelley Show, visit us at store, S-T-O-R-E, at finalcall.com, or you can call a toll-free number, 866-602-1230, extension 200. Repeating, 866-602-1230, extension 200. And, Brother Minister, if you would continue what you
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
With those billions that we could amass in 1 year's time, if all of us united on an economic program that makes sense, then the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we could establish a national black bank where our money, millions and millions of dollars, are in white banks all over the country, and all we get is interest. And it's a small interest at that. Well, why wouldn't we take our money out of these banks and put it in our own bank? But the problem is we don't trust each other enough to do business with self. But we're going to have to get out of that attitude, because that attitude got us where we are, in poverty and want with no jobs. Now, here's another thing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. He said, quote, observe the white man. He's successful. He makes no excuses for his failures. he works hard in a collective manner, you do the same. Now, does this sound like a racist or a hater to you? Now, you can dislike white folk if you want. That's entirely up to you. But Elijah Muhammad was saying, get past that and observe the operations of a man that has captured the world and made the world bow down to his way of civilization. Now, if you study his operations, he's successful, at least he used to be. So now God wants to replace him. This is what I really wanted to get over to you, black people. See, when a man has abused the law of use, he has abused the law of abuse. He has ruined his right to the stewardship of the land, the raw materials, and the people on the land, and that is why dissatisfaction is against his rulership all over the world. The people, the masses, are rising.
We will be back with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm Cliff Kelley. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Good afternoon, good afternoon. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. I'm Cliff Kelley. We're streaming live at www.wvon.com, and it is Thursday, the 3rd of November. Our call-in number is 591-1690. We are continuing with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We're so pleased to have him back, as he was with us last week. He made the comment, I want to come back. He said it on the air, and I said, well, we'd love to have you back. When would you like to do that? He said, next week. And I said, that's great. And Melody Van Cooper said, oh, sure, we can do that. And here he is, and we are very pleased to have him. Let me tell those of you on the line, we are going to continue with the minister until the next break because he wants to finish saying what he's saying. And then after that, we're going straight to the phones. And as I mentioned earlier, he will be with us until 6:23. And again, I want to repeat, to get both WVON messages with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on the show, you can visit us at store.finalcall.com or toll-free number 866-602-1230, extension 200. Repeating, 866-202-1230, extension 200. And you can follow and communicate with the minister at www.twitter.com/Louis Farrakhan, and also at www.noi.org. Brother Minister?
Thank you, Brother Cliff. You know, in observing the operations of the Caucasian people, there's one group that identifies with the Caucasian people that are the most successful above all, and that is the Jewish community. And if we study them carefully, we will see that they understood the value of ownership of land, real estate, and having cash ready to invest in that which would increase their economic power. It was from economic power that they gained political power. You're trying to gain political power without economic strength, and therefore you have no weight to push the engine for your own salvation. Now listen, here's the Jewish people. Now, did you know that in 1860, cotton was to America and the Jewish people like oil is to the Arab world? And one bale of cotton that cost the worker got 43 cents for a bale. But when that bale of cotton was shipped north to New York City, the Jewish brethren of the Jewish plantation owners and runners. Did you know that that cotton turned into jeans and pillowcases and towels and garments that made money and created jobs? That was one bale. Well, now, if we could pick cotton for them and make them rich, don't you think that the land will produce cotton for us, and we could start producing food, clothing, and shelter, all of it coming from the land? It is your aversion to the land that is causing us pain. Did you know that when we were so-called set free in 1865, black people set up 60 towns in America, black-owned, black-operated? We had, I think, 633 legislators, and we had members of Congress, and we had 2 senators. This is after 1865. Now, with all this, white folks said, well, look, if these Negroes keep going like this, we were all the craftsmen. We were the artisans. We were the engineers. We built the Congress. We built the White House. We built the mansions in the South. Let nobody tell you white people didn't pick up a hammer or a saw. That was us. So when slavery ended, there was nowhere for them. We were doing the work. So a wise Jewish man named Samuel Gompers started the Union. The Union was never for us. It was for them. They locked us out. And then Jewish people started inviting their craftsmen brothers from Eastern Europe into America to build now and put us back on the plantation as a sharecropper. And those of you in Chicago whose roots are in Mississippi, you know the pain of sharecropping, but they became rich and powerful from your labor. You made America. They didn't make it. You made it, for both from the South, and you established and influenced the manufacturing revolution in the North. Now, look at our gangbangers. Everybody upset with the gangbanger. Yes, well, look, gangbanger, there's something you can do. Look at how the Jews made it. You know what they did? When their brethren came in from Eastern Europe, all they did was give them a backpack, a 100-pound backpack with goods in it that they could travel in the South and sell things to people that they needed, both the plantation owner and the sharecrop worker. They sold. And when they sold, that money started a route, a trade route. And then they would sell the route. These are smart people. Now, we don't have to do evil to get rich, but just suppose we pool some resources and got something that black folk needed in the community and called the BDs and the BGs and all the gangbangers and said, put this backpack on your back. Let's carve out the territory. This belonged to the BD, this to the BG, this to the El Rookin, this to the gangster disciples, but we're not gangsters no more. We're not selling drugs, killing our people no more. We're making money to own where we live. Get up, black man, and stop this foolishness, or you will die where you are. You don't have much time left.
Okay. Well stated. Let's take a call for the minister. Roosevelt, thank you for holding. We appreciate it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yes, sir. May Allah continue to bless you and your family every millisecond with nourishment and with security. The question that I have is, what would it take for the black man and the black woman with different upbringing, with different background, with different lifestyle, to have a positive mental attitude that we would not put up a fight to build and produce on our own?
It's going to take a divine whipping. I hate to say this, but all of us are going to feel exactly what Elijah Muhammad has been telling us since the 1930s. You know, white folk have put on a mask of civility, and now you think that your 400-year-old enemy has all of a sudden become your friend because he allows you to sleep with his woman, or he sleep with ours, and he gets you into the bedroom but hardly ever in the boardroom, and you lull yourself to sleep thinking that you've gone to heaven now, but you're in a deeper hell than you've ever been in because you're blind to your enemy. Now look at what's about to happen. In Chicago, 17,000 policemen under Commissioner Weiss were given automatic rifles with armor-piercing bullets. New weapons, new crowd control weapons. Now think with me, you that are killing each other and delighting that you smoked your brother. Well, let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. If you don't take this plan and let's get busy doing something constructive for ourselves, I am telling you what's about to go down. The Bible puts it like this: those who refused to listen to Moses and Aaron, that's Elijah Muhammad and Louis Farrakhan, they were bitten by fiery serpents. Fiery serpents only mean angry white folk now who are sick and tired of you and me lolling around like a bunch of lazy beggars, beating people in the head, robbing and stealing when you could be building and producing and earning the respect of the civilized world. So mark my words, as the factories close down and your unemployment benefits run out, and you begin to turn the cities into warfare. Occupy Chicago, occupy New York, occupy Cleveland, occupy Washington, occupy Atlanta, occupy Oakland. And just as I said it last week, they shot a canister that hit an Iraq veteran in the head who had done 2 tours of duty in Iraq. And after that, the veterans started coming out. Veterans that have been 2, 3, 4 times in Iraq and Afghanistan and came back home sick, came back home mentally disturbed, came back home with no job, and it looks like nobody cares. And so when they see their brethren in the street because the bankers have ripped them off and they're losing their homes as well as their jobs and their sanity, now the militia came out in Phoenix, Arizona, armed with AK-47s to protect the children that want to occupy, because the bankers, the thieves, the robbers, the corporatocracy has ruined America, and now it is the end of them and the beginning of a brand new society. Wake up, black man, or die in your sleep.
We shall return. Farrakhan, you were about, I promise after this break we're going to come back.
You know, brothers and sisters, I wish that I had time to just take us through the Genesis of the Bible, because Genesis means beginning. And in the Genesis, you know, Adam and Eve cohabited, and from them they produced two sons. And those two sons had a specified work that everyone who has a beginning must involve themselves in that work. Cain was a tiller of the ground, and Abel was dealing with livestock or sheep. So you got agriculture and animal husbandry as the beginning of how you become an independent people and nation. It starts with your mastery of the land and what the land produces. Now, if you look in the second surah or chapter of the Holy Quran, it is called the cow. And I asked myself a long time ago, why would God open the last revelation that the prophet brought to the entire world, and after the opening chapter, the next chapter is called the cow? And it's the longest chapter in the Holy Quran. So it must be telling us something of the value of a cow. Let me tell you why a cow is valuable. Look, did you know there are 6.9 billion people on the earth? Well, they just passed that. It's 7 billion now. And 1.3 billion cattle in the world today. Cattle, colloquially cows, are the most common type of large domesticated livestock. They are used for meat, beef and veal, dairy, milk, and other dairy products. They are draft animals pulling carts, plows, and the like. Other products include labor, dung for manure or fuel. Well, according to what we have learned, the Quran says, surely there's a lesson for you in the cattle. We give you to drink of what is in their bellies from between the feces and the blood, pure milk, agreeable to the drinkers. Now, wise industrialists and those in the medical profession certainly know how valuable this animal is and its many advantages. The level of economic activity and technology generated by the cow is staggering, from its milk, its hide, blood, brain, intestines, hooves, fat, pancreas, ovaries, bones, and even manure. Hundreds of products are produced. All we need to do is go back to the land. Stop throwing your money away. Pool your money and let's buy land. Let's go back to the earth and that wonderful gift from the beneficent God called the cow.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We shall be back talking about the cow and all other things when we return. And we'll be taking your calls at 591-1690. Good afternoon. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. It is 5:36. I'm Cliff Kelley. We're streaming live at www.wvon.com. And, of course, we are so pleased to have in our studio again the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who this time has been talking about what we need to do as a people to survive. And he said some very, very interesting things. And now we're going to take some more calls. And let's go to Hoyla is with us. Hoyla from Tennessee. Hi, you're on the Talk of Chicago.
Assalamu alaikum to you, Brother Kelly, and to the wonderful Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. May Allah bless you and your family, sir.
Thank you so much.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. I want to, as the minister, explain, especially to our sisters, the importance of how to cook a good meal. They were saying here in Memphis that the food stamp cards now are going to be buying, the fast foods, and we're looking out at our people with all the illnesses, diabetes and cancer, and explain to us, Brother Minister, how it is important to eat off the land and to eat good food, especially for our sisters to cook.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your call.
For your question. Dear brother, and to my dear sisters who are listening, the worst thing that you could do is continue to feed yourself, your husbands, your children, fast food garbage. This earth that God produced for the righteous, we come up out of it, and everything that we need to sustain our lives, to maintain our lives, and correct things that have gone wrong physically in our lives is in the very earth under our feet. When Master Farad Muhammad, the teacher of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, came to North America, Elijah Muhammad said the first thing that he did was take out of the medicine cabinet all of the prescription drugs that our people were using at that time and threw it in the garbage pail and directed the sisters to the kitchen. And some of you may think that cooking is just throwing a piece of chicken in some oil and frying it or broiling it or taking a mashed potato and potatoing it up and getting a frozen this and a frozen that, and your stomach is full, but you're full of that which now has us leading in cancer, leading in tuberculosis, leading in AIDS, leading in all of the ills that Americans are suffering. Well, it comes from eating bad food. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said, and I'm quoting him, "Let your food be your medicine, and let your medicine be your food." And until we understand the science of cooking, which deals with the chemistry of a carrot, the chemistry of onions, the chemistry of garlic, the chemistry of broccoli, the chemistry of all of those wonderful vegetables that American people seem not to want, the chemistry of fruit and the chemistry of meat. Once you know the chemistry and you know what is lacking in yourself and your husband and your children, you put it back into them, not just by going to the supermarket, but by growing the food and knowing that the food that you're growing is not this denatured food that you're getting in the corner store.
Okay. Pam, you're on WVON with Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Good evening, Brother Minister. Good evening to you.
Good evening, my sister.
And thank you for your knowledge and all that you do and share with us. I'm just going to ask that you maybe hit 3 points on a speech that you gave titled "The Divine Value of Women." And, Brother Minister, this particular speech, I read the article in the final call. Cliff, it made me cry because he speaks so lovingly about women and what we should do to honor ourselves and our bodies. And the comparison you made about the womb to the different canals that they protect. So, Brother Minister, if you would please just touch on 3 of those points about how women should value themselves and conduct themselves as single women in dating relationships, but also married, because this all impacts the foundation of our families, which is impacting the behavior of our young girls and also our young boys. So I appreciate you, and if you could just hit some of the points in that speech.
Thank you very much. Now, my dear sister, it's very difficult to do it in the short amount of time we have left, but I would ask those in our listening audience, if you would like to get that speech, you can get it at www.noi.org, I think. And
store.finalcall.com.
store.finalcall.com. You can get that entire lecture. But to be very, very brief, the woman is so sacred. You are so far away from what God created you to be. Your womb is the workshop of God. In the Quran it says, I created you in the womb. And one of you is a believer and the other is a disbeliever. He does not give the credit to mommy or daddy, although they are the agents of creation, but that womb is his workshop. That's where Jesus came from. That's where Moses and the prophets and the great scientists and movers and shakers of the world, they come from the womb of a woman. And what I was teaching was that if you look at the Suez Canal or the Panama Canal, these canals, when the ship gets to the canal, the first thing they have to do is stop and get checked. They have to know now what is on that ship. Then you have to pay the price to go through that channel. Well, that channel is the vaginal tract of the female. That's the channel to the womb, the sacred chamber of God himself. So when somebody wants to access that channel, you should stand at the door and see who you are admitting into that channel to get into the sacred chamber of God and defile you and then walk away and leave you and give you a baby, and then they're filled with AIDS and disease and then corrupt you with their filth because you were not guarding the channel, because you do not know your own value as a woman in the sight of God. You have been made a thing of beauty as a tot. You know what a tot is? It's something after the main meal you use to sweeten your palate. And this is the way this world has treated the black woman and women in general. I say to you, my dear sisters, guard that channel that leads to the secret chamber out of which God may produce the cure for cancer, the cure for diabetes, the cure for AIDS, the cure for all. It will come through the sacred womb of a female. May God bless us to learn how to respect and honor the woman, for Elijah Muhammad said, you are our first nurse. And a nurse has to know the science of what she's nurturing. And you are our first teacher. So ignorance is the enemy of the female and the male. May God bless us to grow in wisdom.
Let's take another caller. Aaron, thank you for holding. You're on WVON with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Minister and Brother Cliff Kelley.
Thank you.
Wa alaikum salam, dear brother.
I have a quick and specific question for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but I must say, Brother Cliff Kelley, in this great time of trouble, I know you're going down in history for a lot of things, but I thank God for you, and I just really know you're going to go down in history for giving the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan a platform to teach and save our people through the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And
thank you so
Brother
much.
Minister, I was 19 years old when I came across the book, The Message to the Black Man, and I couldn't put that book down. And I went to a black bookstore and asked if there was any more books from Elijah Muhammad, and she directed me to the mosque. And then I started going to the processing class, and that class changed my life. There was nothing that I heard that did not coincide with the laws of mathematics and science and the scriptures in the Bible. That was back in 2000. I want to ask you, in 2011, where do those young men and women who are thirsting for knowledge go to learn more about the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in this day and time?
Well, first,
Thank you for your call.
thank you, dear brother.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's words are not surface. He told us to look at his word from above it, from beneath it, from beside it, and then you might understand the fullness of what he's giving to us. So you never stop studying. And so if you get Message to the Black Man and you reread it, you'll see more in it the second time around than you saw the first time. And if you read it the third time, you'll see more then. And then augment your reading. Go to How to Eat to Live, Book 1 and 2, The Fall of America, Our Savior Has Arrived. Go ask for the study guides that Allah blessed me to put together for your study. Then pick up your Holy Quran and your Bible, and you begin to follow what Elijah Muhammad said and his exegesis of a scripture. Go behind him, study that scripture, study his exegesis. And the way you sound to me on this radio and your call, I see I got a great helper here. So you get that knowledge and go teach it wherever you go. May God bless you, son. I'd love to meet you in person.
That's great. That is great. Let's get in one more call. Well, no, we'll wait. We'll wait because we're about to take a break. This is something I was going to say off the air, but when the young lady called about you're holding up women, you know, and how important. The first time I heard you speak, I was so impressed. I don't even know what year it was. It had to be in the 70s. But you were speaking to, and I'll never forget it, about over 200 African-American men who were members of the nation, all just, you know, bright young men. And you were telling them how to make themselves worthy of having an African-American woman. And I've never forgotten that, because I thought it was so meaningful what you said, and I've told a lot of people about that since all these years. I'm not even sure where it was, but I know I was invited and I was happy to go, but I was so impressed with that because it means so much, and it was really something. I don't know whether you have any idea.
No,
you make 100 speeches a month.
But just
so,
think about the word worthy.
Yeah. That was
See, in the word worthy is the word worth. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said it, and the Bible and Quran say it over. A virtuous woman is more valuable than silver and gold. And everybody that's poor wants to own gold and silver. But to have by your side a virtuous woman, then to be worthy to have a woman like that by your side means that you understand the value of a woman. And I'm telling you, just as that cow is a gift from the beneficent God, so is the woman a gift from the beneficent God to a man, because it is through her that we continue. It is through her that we are nurtured and nourished. And this is why women must be afforded not only equal education, but superior education. For wherever you have a wise woman, she'll make a wise nation. May God bless you. Thank you for that.
You're more than welcome. I have told I don't know how many people that. The Talk of Chicago, 1690. I'm Cliff Kelley with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Let's go right to the phones. And as I told you, he'll be here until 6:23 today, and we appreciate that. Alicia from the South Side. Hi, you're on the Talk of Chicago.
Thank you, Brother Cliff. I love you, Brother Farrakhan. Thank you so much for all your sacrifice and for pushing forward this vision that will ultimately free us. My question to you is whether or not a national treasury, which you described earlier, is in the process of being created, and whether or not you're working in collaboration with black or religious banks such as Seaway or Covenant Bank.
Thank you so
Alicia.
much.
Thank you.
Yes, we are working with Seaway. I'm not sure about the other bank, but if it's a black bank, that's fine. We'll work with it. But yes, we are in the process. We already have a treasure like that. But I want to expand it now with the help of people like Bob Johnson and others. And we have to be able to speak to the nation and get the nation to agree. Now, I tell you, we don't trust each other. But I'm willing to pay with my life. That's all I got. And I will give my life before I deceive black people or anybody and rob you. You know, we must create a future. I'm soon going to be 79 years old. I don't know how much time I got. So what is it that I need with money personally? I need money to help lay a foundation for the future of our people. And anyone that will rob us, you have to know that the soldiers are angry and they are tired of leaders that suck their blood and deceive them and rip them off in the noble name of I'm your leader. Well, that day is over. In South Africa, they put gasoline in tires and put it around the head of those betrayers of the liberation struggle of our people. And instead of us just walking down the street shooting, killing innocent people, then what about these that are ripping the community off? What about these that are lying and deceiving our people? Our future is at stake. So those who wish to deceive us, you will pay in the future with your life.
We will be back. Good evening, good evening. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. I'm Cliff Kelley. We're streaming live at www.wvon.com, and our call-in number is 591-1690. We are so pleased to have had, since 4 o'clock, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in our studio. And let me tell you, to get both WVON messages, because this is part 2, he was with us, as you know, last week. You can get both messages. You can visit us at store.finalcall.com or go to a toll-free number, 866-602-1230, extension 200. Repeating, 866-602-1230, extension 200. Also, you can now follow and communicate with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan at www.twitter.com @Louis Farrakhan and also www.noi.org. Brother Minister, it's so great having you here, and let's take it. We've had people waiting to talk to you. They are so great. I don't blame them. I'd wait too. Jasmine from Park Forest. Hey, Jasmine, thanks for holding.
Hi, assalamu alaikum, Brother Minister, and may Allah continue to bless you.
Thank you, sister.
I'm a 24-year-old unemployed nursing student, and I don't know if a lot of people know, but us new nurses are not getting hired, and we're sitting around with our skills being wasted, and I was just wondering if you plan on, I know you will, but plan on building a hospital for us, for our people, or for us to build a hospital for ourselves. I just wanted you to speak on that.
Thank you, Jasmine. Unfortunately, the job market is closing down, and maybe you ought to try private nursing, where you may be assigned to a home, which will allow you to practice your skill not as much as you would if you were in a hospital in an emergency room setting, but your skill is vitally necessary. Hopefully, we'll be able to start some clinics where our nurses can be useful. And we have students now that are down in Cuba studying under a scholarship that was offered to us by Fidel Castro, that you can come out of high school if you're proficient in math and science and can speak some Spanish. You get a 6-year free scholarship, and your books are provided, and at the end of 6 years, you are a doctor that can come back to America and pass the board exams to be accepted in the medical profession. Some of our students are back now. They have passed their medical exams, and the only requirement that Fidel Castro asked is that you go back to your community and give your skill to your people. And so hold on, my dear sister, and take that skill and keep in practice as best you can. And there's enough sickness around us where you'll be needed for sure, if not now, shortly.
He's totally right, Jasmine. There's no doubt about that. And I think it's wonderful what they do in Cuba. It is
You know,
fantastic.
Fidel, when Che Guevara came to Fidel, Che Guevara was the doctor.
Right.
And Fidel was the revolutionary. And now Fidel is the man that is promoting doctors. He has doctors all over the world helping people. In fact, when Katrina happened, he offered America the doctors from Cuba, right, and America refused. So he sent them to the earthquake victims in Pakistan. Oh, pride goeth before destruction.
And by the way, for those of you who question what, so we're going back to Cuba again in February, and you can see what the minister is saying because you'll see so many African-American students there in Cuba. We've seen, you know, Che was my hero, and when they won, Fidel said, I want you to help me run the government, and Che said, I don't run governments, I overthrow them. You know? But he knew his position, you know. We know what happened after that, but still, he was just fantastic. And speaking of that, let's go to Dr. Tisa from Ontario, Canada. Hi, Doctor.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Greetings, Mr. Kelley.
Thank you. Thank you
for having Minister Farrakhan on. And Minister Farrakhan, I'm forever thankful to Allah for you. And
thank you.
I'm forever thankful that Allah has chosen you, of all people, to be the one to do this work. I want to be very brief, but I would like to tell you, Brother Minister, that we have a tremendous love for you. And I chose Islam when I was 9 years old, but I chose the nation at the age of 17 after hearing you speak when I was in Buffalo, New York. And it was because you really showed me through your words, your actions, and through the manner in which the brothers and sisters are in the Nation of Islam, that a nation can rise no higher than its woman. And for you doing that for me, you have freed me as a woman to truly live up to the potential of my visions. I would like to also state that right now I wanted to just give you a very brief insight into the fact that my brother and I are currently making moves in the Caribbean to secure land. And my brother actually purchased a mall there in Tobago. We have a lot of family there. And we are going to be implementing, the Sister Jasmine just called about that, but we're opening up wellness clinics there for our people. And we are going to be utilizing the wealth of the very rich there to help those who are very poor by bringing them education, teaching them how to eat to live, and how to live according to what we have been taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In addition, I would like to let you know, Brother Minister, that everywhere I've gone, I just recently came back from Trinidad and Jamaica. I've been given opportunities when I tell them about these visions, and I've utilized the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in my practice as a natural doctor to give to the people the insight and vision of my own vision that Allah has truly blessed me with with giving a school to our people and teaching the people directly how to heal themselves, putting the power back in the hands of the common man and woman, how to heal themselves. Okay. And that is something that all of them were open to, and I've had people giving us things because we came in the name of Allah.
All right,
and
Doctor.
I want to thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for calling. We'll try to get another caller, too.
Thank you, sister.
Right,
you've said it all. I don't have anything to say, but thank you for the work that you and your husband are doing.
Let's go to Reggie in New York, who's been holding. Thank you, Reggie. You're on with Minister Farrakhan. Reggie, are you there? I hear his radio in the back. Reggie, calling Reggie. Reggie. We're going to have to let him, that's too bad, because he's been holding for, I won't even tell you how long. Let's go to Stanley. Stanley, hi, you're on the Talk of Chicago with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, assalamu alaikum, Brother Minister and Brother Cliff.
Thank you. How are you?
Salam.
I thank Allah for life, sir. Brother Cliff, I want to thank you for having the Honorable Minister Farrakhan on your show, which is really a blessing. He's a great light with unequal brightness in a time of darkness for America and the world. Mm-hmm. And, Brother Minister, I want to let you know how much I love you, and I thank Allah for you. And I pray to Allah that during your time of crucifixion I can prove that. But I want to say that I'm a husband for 21 years, and I have 9 children, 7 girls and 2 boys. And my daughters are growing up, and they want to involve in relationships with other young brothers. I want you, if Brother Minister, you would so kindly give us the proper way that if our young daughters or young sons want to enter in a relationship, what is the proper way that they act that kind of relationship, sir?
All right. Thank you for your call. All right, Stanley. Mm-hmm.
In our world of Islam, no man comes into my house to my daughter except through me. I am the door to my daughters. And every man that has a daughter and loves his daughter, once some young man is interested in the daughter, then he doesn't sneak around the back door or come to my daughter in some way other than right, because he's flirting with danger then. Because what we love, we protect. And if you want to, keep your health as a young man, you're going to have to learn how to respect the value of our women and the value of having a father and a mother. You come through us. Now, a young man may want to talk to your daughter, so if he comes to your door, then you ask him a question. Well, son, how old are you? Mm-hmm. How much education do you have? What do you want to be in life? I see. And what are you doing now? Do you have a job? See, because any man coming to a woman that has no money, you can forget that. Yes. You're wasting her time, except you just want to have sex with my daughter and make her pregnant and run away like so many, and then you might find one of my sons or somebody to help you understand better. So, this is a process. And in our world of Islam, you go through the parents. We are the door. Respect that door. And have your daughters to understand how dangerous it is. Because she endangers the boys as well as herself. I don't want to get into this on this call, but, in the old world of Islam, we're much more merciful here. But they have what they call honor killings. Mm-hmm. And I'll close with this on this subject. The Honorable, we're out about. Yeah. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, one day, a young man told me that his daughter was 16 and ran away with a young man. And he asked me to ask the messenger what he should do. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, well, go and tell him, or the oldest son, to go find her, make her very happy, and at the height of her happiness, slit her throat.
Wow.
I said, oh, God, how could I tell that brother that? And after he let me stew in that juice for a while, he said, oh, brother. He said, go tell that brother to go and get his daughter. She'll be all right. He said, none of us are righteous enough to exact that kind of penalty. But that is a penalty in the Islamic world. You do not disgrace your family. But some of us, I have to say, the world of Islam is in need of reformation. And that mercy killing or honor killing is something we have to consider. Are you righteous enough to do anything like that? And I guarantee you, none of us are.
Love you. Thank you so much.
Love
for
you
being here.
more, and thank you, and thank WVON and Purvis Spann and his lovely daughter for allowing me to this privilege to be with you.
You're great. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you all.
Want to thank our great news person, Deborah Johnson, our technical producer, Farouk Abdul-Basir, and our executive producer, of course, Michael Peary. Stay right here. Keep it on the only station that matters, WVON, the Urban Business Roundtable up next, and then our own Salim